Hi, this is Marsha.
And this is Kelly.
We are the 2U's of 2U's Fiber Adventures. Thanks for stopping by.
You'll hear about knitting, spinning, dyeing, crocheting, and just about anything else we can think of as a way to play with string.
We blog and post show notes at 2usfiberadventures.com.
And we invite you to join our 2U's Fiber Adventures group on Ravelry. I'm 100 Projects.
And I am Better in Motion.
We're both on Instagram and Ravelry, and we look forward to meeting you there.
Enjoy the episode. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Marsha. I'm doing great. I had coffee outside in the sun today.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's been nice this morning. I think today's supposed to get into the mid 70s, which I will be perfectly happy with. And yesterday we were up in Fremont visiting my mom and Dennis, and it was probably 80, 81, something like that. So, so I've been enjoying the weather.
Yes. Well, I had a little trip too. I took a break from carpet, or it's no longer, I realize I have it listed as the Great Carpet Removal Project, but there's no carpet left. So it really should just be Floor Restoration Project now. But I took a break, and my son, is in Squamish, BC. He's been up there almost 4 weeks, I think, like 3.5 weeks, climbing. And so I, with Maddie, his girlfriend, she's been up there part of the time. So I went Tuesday, drove up, and we just played for Tuesday afternoon, all day Wednesday. And then we met for breakfast on Thursday. And then I left about 10:30. I left to drive home. So we had a really fun time. Kelly, we talked about this just a little bit before we started recording, but I posted on Instagram the pictures, and I posted the video of him, what they call highlining, and if people don't know what that is, they string a web line across, from like two mountain peaks, or maybe not mountains, but two, rock peaks. And so, and then they walk along that line like a tightrope. They have their climbing gear, like that harness that, goes around it's like not a belt, it's a harness that your legs go in and that goes around your belt. And he's tied into that. There's a safety line on there. So it's actually remarkably safe. But it is kind of weird, to watch your child walking out on this thing. The line was 200 meters long, and he's probably at least 200 meters up above the. I mean, I don't know. He's walking across the trees, and the trees look little. I mean, the
basically
trees are way
across
down
a
there.
canyon. Yeah,
it's across a canyon, and I will say we hiked up to the rock, and then I sat on the rock, and I did not stand up, and I could not walk to the edge of the rock.
Yeah.
I filmed him, and then even Enzo, I kept him on leash because I was worried that it's just basically, it's a rock with, it's not like a rock that just has like a drop off. It's like a rounded rock. So if you got to the edge and lost your grip, you just keep sliding down. Like if it was a definite edge, you would know, don't go past that. Yes. Anyway, but what I want to say.
You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm like, my eyes are closed and I'm cringing and like curling myself into fetal position here, just listening to it.
I have to say, I don't like heights, and I don't like being like on the edge of things. Like I don't like that kind of stuff at all. But so anyway, my comment I wanted to make was, on Instagram, several people commented, like I'm the bravest mother in the world, that I can let my son do this. And, like, how can you let him do that? And like, oh, that's so scary and everything. I have no control over this. He's 25, soon to be 26 in this fall. I have no control. He's going to do what he's going to do. And it takes comfort in knowing that he is a very conservative, low risk taking person, right? Everything is very calculated. safety checks. In fact, that day, Maddie, his girlfriend, was doing the safety check, and they were having this 10-point thing or whatever they go through, making sure everything is safe before he did. And he went, there were 4 lines set up, I think, and he tried 2 of them. I think he went out there 5 times, I think, before and after lunch, combined. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So it's just kind of funny. Like I have nothing to do with this. It's completely beyond my control. I just have faith that he is very conservative in terms of risk.
Yeah.
He wants to come. At the end of the day, he wants to come home.
Right.
But I will say it was strange. I see the videos of this that he shows me when he's home after he's done it. It's a very different feeling sitting there watching it.
Right.
As he's going out over it. That was kind of like, okay, just take a deep breath and just trust that he knows what he's doing.
Right. Well, and if you want to be part of his life in that way, you went to watch him do the thing he loves to do. Yeah. Right. No different from somebody watching, a son who plays college football or play an instrument, go and watch the band, or if you want to see what he's doing, you have to go and watch this. Yeah, I have to admit I couldn't watch it. And when he posts stuff like that, I swipe past. I can't. I can't.
Anyway, well, I'm just going to say it was super fun. If anybody gets a chance to go up to Squamish is on the way from Vancouver to Whistler, BC. And Whistler's beautiful as well. That's the big ski resort. That's where the Olympics were held. The Winter Olympics were held one year. So it really is spectacular scenery. And the drive from Vancouver up through Squamish up to Whistler is spectacular. And then just Squamish is really cute town. A lot of building going on there. I was surprised. It's been, I don't know, probably 10 years since I've been through there, and it's changed quite a bit, but it's really pretty. Lots of hikes, easy hikes, hard hikes, all kinds of things for people. So anyway, nice. So that was fun. It was nice to take a little break from the carpet project, because I've been basically in my house. Enzo needed a vacation from all this carpet stuff. So
all the disruption of his home. Yeah.
So anyway. Okay, so are we ready to talk projects?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go first. So right now I'm sitting here actually knitting on a pair of socks using the Weird Sisters yarn. The colorway is Gay Pride Flag, and it's on the sparkle base, which is not as sparkly as I was thinking it would be. When I'm outside, I can see the sparkle, but it's not. It's a pretty subtle sparkle. And these are for a friend at work. I'm hoping to finish them by the first academic senate meeting of the year. He was the Senate president last year, and now I'm Senate president. So anyway, I'm hoping to finish them before the first meeting, and I've got the leg of the first sock almost done. And unusual for me, I'm just doing a vanilla sock because it's stripes. It's like, so the stripes are like one round, each color. It doesn't go all the way around. The one color doesn't go all the way around the sock. So it's kind of doing the spiral striping thing. The red, orange, yellow, green. So each row, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is a different color. But then like the yellows and greens and oranges pool together into one stripe. And then the reds and purples and blue pool together into another stripe. Okay. And so it's really pretty. And I thought about doing some kind of slip stitch pattern. And then I thought, you know what? This person is not a knitter. And people think striping is amazing. You don't need to add anything more to this striping. If they were for me, I probably would do, some slip stitching or something. But just to make it more interesting. But I thought, no, I'll just make plain old stockinette. So ribbing, about 2 inches of ribbing at the top, and then stockinette, making them a little bit longer than Robert's socks because he's a little taller than Robert is. And also Robert always wants his socks a little bit longer. So making them a little bit longer, and I think they'll be a little bit bigger. I know I have definitely made them. I started off with more stitches. I usually do 72 stitches for Robert's socks, and I made these with, I think, 76 in the ribbing, and then I decreased down to 72 for the stockinette leg. So anyway, I'm working on those. I should probably get to the heel while we're recording. I'll go ahead and put in my heel. And I'm going to do the trick where you put the heel in from the other end of the yarn. Pull from the outside of the ball to make the heel.
Okay.
So I know it'll still disrupt the
so it
striping.
doesn't interrupt the...
Yeah.
It'll
still disrupt it because the stitch count will be different after you do the heel. Then when you have those gusset stitches, you're going to get a disruption because you have more stitches. So my stripes are going to change. But it's less of a disruption. Well, let me put it this way. It's a different kind of disruption if you pull from the outside of the ball to make the heel and then go back to your same, in yarn for the instep. So that's what I'm planning. That's what I'm planning to do. Again, not a knitter, probably wouldn't notice. It's just like there's so many colors and they're so bright that it probably matters not at all. But I thought I would do that because it will be more interesting for me to see how that comes out. So that's what I'm working on right now. I finished the other socks, the Purl to Walla Walla Epicurean Kitchen. I'm actually calling them the North Colville socks because that's where Kirkman House was, and that's where the Epicurean Kitchen is. And but they're finished. I've worn them. I still need to wash them. I didn't wash them. Do you wash and block socks after you make them, or do you just wear them?
I just wear them.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, they eventually get washed, right?
Yeah.
After I wear them, but I don't wash wash them before I wear them.
No, I don't either. And I don't block socks because my whole life, well, living with Robert especially, but even before that, it's about, don't stretch out your socks. And then living with Robert, he doesn't even put them in his own socks into a ball. You know how you turn over the top of a sock to make them.
Oh, are you not supposed to do that?
He folds his socks because he doesn't want to stretch out the sock.
Oh.
So so blocking a sock to me, it's like, why would you block a sock? You definitely don't want to stretch it out. Stretched out socks are bad, according to Robert. So,
Robert's rules of order.
Yes. And I guess I can kind of remember as a kid, there were some socks that I didn't like to wear anymore because they got all stretched out at the top.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, my store-bought socks, I put in a ball like that.
Yeah.
But my hand knit, I just fold.
You just fold. Yeah, he folds all of his socks.
I don't know why.
And I put my short socks in a ball, but I don't. Yeah, I don't. I just fold my hand knit socks now too. But I started doing it because Robert just got me into the habit of not putting socks into a ball. Anyway,
so why are socks? Why do people block their socks? I mean, I block my sweaters and or I wash hats before
I don't know.
Give them away. But why do people put? Because I've seen people posting the sock on a sock frame.
Maybe because sock blockers are cute and fun.
Oh, well, my mother had some. My mother had some that she would, when she'd wash my father's socks, she'd put them on there. And I don't know. I mean, I've never thought about it, but why? I mean, you're just gonna put them on your feet. Nobody sees them.
Yeah. It's not like they're going to be wrinkly or anything. Yeah, I don't know.
There is a reason. There's got to be a good reason. We just don't know what
Maybe
it is.
They dry faster. If you have to hand wash and dry them, they dry faster.
Yeah.
At least on those
maybe listeners can tell us why it's a good idea to wash and block your socks.
Yeah.
We're missing something because there's a reason why.
Yeah.
We need to be educated on this topic, Kelly.
Why would you block a sock? Don't know. Yeah. Don't do it. But anyway, so that's my knitting. And then I have spinning. So I have sitting here next to me, I have my little basket of all of my summer spinning. So I talked already about the Cormo, or the Wensleydale Cormo that I finished. That's in a nice little basket. And I am thinking I might enter it into the fair. It's they have a category where you enter a basket of yarn that's for a project. And so I'm thinking I might enter that, a little basket of this black yarn, this 3-ply. I don't know. It would be fun to enter it. But the other thing that I finished was it's a Corriedale Targhee Merino that I dyed and then carded. So that spinning is finished. And I know I talked about this last episode because I was in the process of finishing it. It's also a 3-ply. And I I'm a little bit surprised by the yardage because it looks to me very much like a worsted weight when I look at it and compare it to some of my other worsted weight yarns. But I only got, so in 133 grams, I only got 108 yards. So that's definitely not a worsted weight. I mean, in terms of yards to grams, because say Cascade 220 is 220 yards in 100 grams, right? So yes. I have 133 grams and just over 100 yards in one skein.
Okay.
And my other skein is 92 yards and 123 grams. So not very consistent. Maybe I didn't measure very well. That might also be maybe something. Maybe something about my measurements, my counting. This is a very bouncy yarn, so I don't know. It might have been hard to measure because I don't have one of those. There's been a discussion about a yardage counter, and I don't do that. I just count the wraps and then. Yeah,
that's
on my nitty naughty, and then I measure.
You taught me to do.
Yeah, but it's harder to measure when you have a really bouncy yarn. So it may be that I underestimated the yardage significantly because it is such a bouncy, stretchy yarn. Anyway, I'll swatch. I won't just say, "Oh, this is a bulky, chunky yarn."
Well, and also, I mean, my rule of thumb with hand spun, when you go to knit a project, is you always find a project that uses less yardage than you have or you think you have, because you can have a problem. Yes. You can't really easily get more of it.
That's true. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I think it's nice enough that I could actually make a sweater with it. It's soft. It's pretty soft. And the Targhee has made it really bouncy. And so it would be I think it'd be a pretty sweater if I wanted to make a sweater out of it. So, but I would need to make, I would definitely need more. I only have a little over 200 yards if I, depending on how accurate I am. But I have quite a bit more of that fleece. I think I have a total of like 3 pounds, something like that. And I dyed some more. I didn't put that in the show notes, but I did take another probably 300 grams and dyed it in more green tones, blue and green instead of blue and the orange, which kind of came out more red. So this is a really blue purple, and then the next one will be probably a blue green.
Okay.
So when I get to spinning that and carding it, I don't know. But it's been dyed and it's been dried, washed and dried. So it's just waiting for me to process it. I am still working on processing that rug yarn fleece, the Corriedale Border Leicester from 2016.
Right.
I've done a little bit more of that, but not a whole lot. So maybe that'll be my next thing. I don't have a current spinning project, so maybe it's back to fiber prep, and I'll keep working on those little nests of kind of pseudo combed top that I pull off the carder through a diz. And then I did another spinning project that I haven't talked about because I started it and finished it in this last 2 weeks. Do you remember the fleece that I bought at Stitches in 2022? So not this year, but last year, the year before. That from the Two Guys yarn.
Oh, yes.
A little paper sack full of dyed roving, and it was mixed BFL, so that that top that has the strand of dark going through the natural white color or natural cream color, and then they had dyed it. And I really liked the colors. They were nice, kind of muted colors. But basically what I realized when I started spinning it is its primary colors. It was blue and red and yellow. And so I just spun it end to end. I split it in two, spun it end to end. And then I applied the two bobbins together. And since it was 3 ounces and I split it in half, each half fit on one bobbin very easily. Each half fit on one bobbin. So that was great. And I'm thinking, okay, now I'm going to ply it just end to end, right? And then I realized that the plied yarn wasn't going to fit all on one bobbin. And I wanted to keep it all in order. So your starting end is on the inside of your bobbin, right? And then you stop, and that's the end on the outside of your bobbin. And then when you start again, that part of the yarn is on the inside of your bobbin. And so now how do you connect something that's from the inside of your bobbin to something that's on the outside of your bobbin when you wind it off?
You have to rewind it.
So yes, I did a little bit of, first I made a diagram because I couldn't wrap my head around it without drawing it out. And I ended up having to spin or having to wind one of them onto a ball winder and then pull that off so that it could all stay in order. So, right. And I was laughing in our Ravelry thread, there was a discussion about plying and how having a plying wheel with a larger bobbin or the electric wheels with the larger bobbins is so great. And I'm like, I don't know. I never used a big one. I don't need a bigger bobbin. I always just ply on my regular wheel. What's the big deal? Okay, that's the big deal. If you want to keep your color in order, you have to do a brain-busting puzzle exercise.
There was something I did where I had to keep track of the ends. I'm trying to think. Oh, I know what it was. It was that T-shirt that I made with the Weird Sisters Wool Emporium yarn.
Oh, yes.
And because you remember I was doing all that yarn management of trying to alternate the balls, but then
keep some for the sleeves.
And I split all the skeins in half, so I made 2 balls, but then I had to keep track of which end I was pulling from. Yes. Right, so I had to do all that, and that's when all that management, and I ended up with the pooling on the left breast. Remember,
right?
That little spot of pooling. But yes, I had to keep track, and we had this discussion because I actually numbered the end. I numbered so I could match up the numbers.
They had all little like tapes on the end of them or something.
Yeah. But it kind of hurt my head to figure that out. So I know what you mean.
Yeah. So it's a pretty yarn. It does not come across as blue, red, and yellow at all. Once it was spun, it's kind of more like a blue gray and a pink. And then the yellow over-dyed over the, and then plied, over that mixed BFL is more like a green. It's kind of a khaki, maybe green khaki color. So it's a real pretty skein. I got 350 yards, 92 grams. So basically like a fingering weight. Heavy fingering weight, maybe. So not sure what I'll do with it, but it was a fun spin. I think I did have some plans when I originally bought it to use it as the color work, to do like a color work yoke and just use that in, not changing colors like a lot of that color work is, but use the color changes that are already in the yarn.
Right.
And so I may do that, or I may just experiment with how that works with this particular skein, and maybe do a portion of a hat, or maybe do the whole. Maybe do a whole. I mean, I have more than enough yarn to make a hat here, but maybe use some of it to play around and see how that looks. So
yeah.
So anyway, I got that one done, and then the other thing that I did, because I wanted to be able to mention it. It's kind of fun how the podcast makes you do stuff.
I know.
But I dragged out the quilt, and I thought, okay, I've got to complete another. I have to at least do one circle. And so I got the quilt out, and now I have 11. I think I had 9 circles done out of 20 the last time I talked about it. And now I have 11 circles done out of 20. So it's coming along. It's, it's not stalling. It's just slow. So anyway, that's my projects. So what about your projects, Marsha?
So I'm knitting on the blanket right now. I'm down to 5 balls, and the blanket's 70 inches.
Oh, wow.
The ball I'm knitting with right now has about 2 inches left on it. So I'm about ready to start another ball. So that means I'll have 4 balls left after I start this next one. So I'm beginning to see the end. I did not take it with me to Canada because it's too big. As I said, in fact, I'm not, when we go to the beach, I'm not going to take it to the beach. I don't think there's room in the car for 2 adults, 2 dogs, and all the gear that goes with 2 adults and 2 dogs. So it'll stay home. But anyway, I'm working on that. I'm beginning to see the end. But thinking of washing and blocking, I'm going to have to figure out how to wash and block it. I think, but I've got that big sink now, so I'm just going to soak it in the sink and then put it in the wash machine on the spin cycle to get the water out. That's sort of my plan. Spinning, I have finished the first bobbin of the second set of 3 bobbins. So in the evening, I did some spinning out on the deck. And I am planning on bringing that project to the beach. So I'll get a lot of spinning done at the beach, I'm sure. The Bankhead Hat, using the Dimond Laine Elmer Tweed, I've done 8 inches, and at 8 inches, you start the decreases. So I did bring that with me, and I worked on that in the evenings. So it'll be done soon. Ben saw it, because I think I told you I bought this, and I thought I was going to make this hat for Ben, but then I realized it's green and gray stripes, and I just made him that green and brown striped sweater. And so he said, "Oh, what are you working on?" We were just sitting there in the motel room, and I said, "I'm making a hat." I said, "I was making it for you, but I figured you didn't want another striped hat." And he said, "I would love a striped hat." So I said, "Okay, well, I'll give it to you when I'm done." So in terms of knitting, now I'm going off on just a little bit of I don't have any projects started other than I'm planning. So do you remember I've been talking about making Snowflower by Heidi Kermeyer, the sweater with the color work yoke? And I've been trying to, when I bought the yarn, I thought there was only 3 contrasting colors. There's actually 4. And so I went through my stash and I found the kind of bright cobalt blue and then kind of an aqua yarn that I had bought at New Lanark in Scotland. And I made the sweater out of the blue for my brother, but I have leftover yarn. Not made the sweater for myself, but I have a ton of yarn. So I was thinking of using those colors. I really liked the aqua with that sage green. But when everybody came over for lunch the other day, we were looking at it, and everybody loved the colors together. But when you put the aqua is going to be next to the sage green that is the body of the sweater. It gets a bit lost, when you actually start knitting them together. So I thought, so Kim had also given me a gray, and the the original sweater is knit out of Brooklyn tweed shelter. And so she had some Brooklyn tweed shelter in a gray. And that looked nice with it too. But I thought, you know what? I think what I need to do, instead of I've tried the stash thing, pulling things from the stash. I think I just need to go to the yarn store and look at Brooklyn tweed and see maybe there's another color out there that I need to get that's just not working. My yarn is just not working. So Kim went with me. Yeah. And we went down there and I can't. So anyway, I'm going to use kind of the sweater's kind of a sage green. Then you have just the natural colored yarn that makes these sort of snowflake inspired design. Then I'm going to use a rust that's in the center of the snowflakes and another part of the color work, kind of this rust color. And then I have kind of a chocolate brown, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use the chocolate brown I ordered or if I'm going to use the gray that Kim gave me for my other color. But it was that fourth color I could not make up my mind. The aqua and the blue didn't work. So at the yarn store, we're trying all these different colors. And you know how it's weird, but this woman, she said, oh, I'm knitting a sweater out of a green very similar to that green you're using. And she said, I'm using a rose with it, a rose color. And Kim goes, oh. So she pulls out this rose color. It looks fantastic with it. I was kind of really bummed I was not going to use the aqua because I really like the aqua with the green and and especially with the rust, they look really nice. It sounds weird, but that rose looks really nice with it. So I bought a skein of that. So this colorwork sweater is becoming very expensive because I have all these skeins of yarn that I'm not going to use now. But anyway, I bought that.
Well, we were talking about, I'm gonna tell a little tale on myself. When I went to the little meetup that some of the Knockers folks had back in the middle of July, one Saturday, we all met up at a coffee shop in Livermore, and somebody was saying something about finding yarn or yarn colors or something, and I said, well, and I was talking about my sweater, the linen sweater, and I said, well, if you're Marsha, you just say, well, go, why don't you go buy another color of yarn? I'm like, but I have this yarn in my stash. So we were kind of laughing. I was kind of teasing you about going to buy another yarn, but it does sound like that's a really good good mix. Like you have all this yarn now, but you did get the right colors for your project.
I'll just make something out of the other yarn, right?
Oh yeah. It's not like you don't have other things to do with beautiful yarn, right?
Yes, that's true. But Kelly, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because it gets worse. Okay.
Oh no. Okay.
So I don't know. It was not last December. It was probably 2 Decembers ago. Our friend Joanne, Mom Diggity, had posted on Instagram the pattern of Santa's laundry line, and anyway, it's a Christmas ornament that basically it's Santa's suit. His jacket, his pants, and his socks, and his scarf, and his hat, and his long johns, I think, that you knit up, and then they're on this little line held with clothespins, so it's his laundry. And so she told me about it, and then I found out that Aunt Betty had made it too. She just finished it. So I thought, I've been wanting to make it. So I thought, I'm going to make that. So I'll go down and I'll look, and it says you use your leftover sock scraps, right? So I go down to look. I have some gray that I got because I need green, red, green, white, like Santa's suit, and gray. So I had the gray, but I don't have any sock scraps that are solid red, solid green, solid cream, like Santa's suit colors, right? So I go down to the yarn shop and I buy skeins of sock weight yarn, 3 skeins so I bought laying yarn is Jawal fingering in red, green, and cream. And I think each skein is like $10, $11. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. But I don't have any sock scraps in those colors. And Santa can't have Santa can wear whatever he wants to wear, but Santa doesn't wear, a variegated yarn jacket, right? And maybe his long johns, because we don't see his long johns. Maybe they're wild and crazy. But anyway, so I bought the yarn for it, and I And then I thought, I shouldn't even buy the cream because I have hand spun and cream. And then I was standing down there and I thought, I just want to start the project out. I don't want to mess around with having to go now. I've gone through my stash how many times? So I bought, is that ridiculous? Yes. But now I have red, green, cream, and gray for toes and heels.
Right. That's what I was going to say. You can always use those for toes and heels.
Or I can make myself. Actually, you know what would be kind of cute is to make just some striped socks for myself.
Yeah.
To wear at Christmas time.
Socks. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I'll do that because I'll have a lot.
Well, Aunt Betty had the same dilemma.
Okay.
With the Santa's laundry. And what she ended up doing was not using sock yarn because she didn't have that in her stash, but she had like the Red Heart, pretty much worsted weight, I think. And then she did do something with one of the reds was just a regular red, and the other red was a different red with some sparkle in it. And she kept saying, I don't know if this is going to be okay, but I really am not going to buy yarn for this project. She ended up not buying yarn for the project, but there are a couple of things where I'm like, well, his underwear doesn't have to be whatever. Like you said, no, it has to be
nobody
white.
Knows what Santa's underwear
I just need to find the white. Mm-hmm. And then she said something about his scarf, and I said, well, I don't think he wears a scarf with his Santa suit.
No, he doesn't. He has that big fur collar, right?
Yeah. Maybe the scarf is like when he goes out to feed the reindeer. His scarf and mittens could be something totally different. She was not having any of it. But she did manage to find yarn between her stash and that big box of stuff that my mom, brought over for me to get rid of.
The pattern, the beauty of the pattern is it says you can make it out of any weight yarn you want. You just if you do worsted weight, you're just going to have a bigger suit.
Right.
Santa have a larger, so anyway. Yeah, no, but anyway, I stood there and I thought, this is stupid what I'm doing, but I'm doing it,
well, it's a very cute set. And I do think it would be really cute in sock weight because they will be kind of tiny. Mm-hmm. It'll be a cute little decoration. The ones she's made, I forget where she said she's going to put it. I think she's going to put it across the window. The window that we have that goes into the kitchen. Yeah, from her hallway. Mm-hmm. That used to be the porch window. I think that's where she's going to end up putting it. But yeah, It's a very cute project. This Santa suit. You're going to have to put it in the show notes if you didn't already. Oh yeah, you have it. Santa's Laundry Line by Eleanor von Castlemer.
Mm-hmm. I believe it's a free pattern too.
It's very cute.
Anyway, and then the other thing I bought when I was down there, I've been wanting to make, you're okay. I'm ridiculous. Now I'm just laughing when I'm about to say what I also bought down there is I want a tea cozy for myself. Even though I've made all these tea cozies, I want that same tea cozy that I've made for everybody. I want one for myself, but I want one in hot pink and lime green, the two colors, because I have a Lily Pulitzer was a clothing designer. I think she was she was part of the Pulitzer family. I don't remember the connection now, but she was had a career as a dress designer, clothing designer, and she was in Florida, I believe. And she has a certain style, a lot of pineapples on it, a lot of hot pink and lime green were sort of her color palette. And she was sort of known for making dresses for women for like beach wear, resort wear kind of, in these hot, bright colors and stuff. Anyway, I have a tray, a Lily Pulitzer, like melamine. Is it melamine? Melamite? But anyway, tray has pineapples on it, and it's hot pink and lime green. And I use it in the summer, and we do drink hot tea in the summer. So I decided I want a tea cozy to go with that tray. So
that'll be cute.
Yeah. So anyway, and then I also had bought some, it's not Lily Pulitzer, but it's again, sort of Lily Pulitzer inspired fabric that has pineapples on it. That's hot pink and lime green that I've been meaning to make napkins for 2 years to go with the tray and now with my tea cozy. So I bought 2 skeins of Cascade 220 in a lime green and hot pink to make the tea cozy. So I don't know when it's not going to get done this summer, but
that'll be fun.
Yeah. So that's not so crazy, but.
And do you have one that's like green and blue, right? That same pattern?
I have two in that pattern. I have one that's, green and blue. It's for a small teapot that I would use just for myself. So it's really not large enough for the big teapot. And then I also have one in Christmas colors, red and green, which I was thinking when we were talking about Santa's suit, I still have that red and green because it was yarn from the Goodwill or the D-stash room or something. And I still have a lot of that left. And I was thinking I didn't think about it at all. I kept thinking I wanted to fingering weight Santa's laundry line, but I could have done it in the worsted weight. But anyway, maybe I'll do two. Who knows? But anyway, so I just have the two tea cozies in that pattern. So and I really like that pattern. It's in the summer it doesn't matter, but in the winter, because it's the way it's made, because it draws up the yarn, it becomes kind of thick. And I think it keeps your teapot warmer than if it was just garter stitch or stockinette or rib. It's like a double layer of knitting kind of.
It's kind of like a honeycomb because you've got not just the double layer of knitting, but you've got the air in the middle of it.
So it's all garter stitch, but as you change colors, you tighten it just a little bit so it makes these ridges. But then the yarn that's carried behind creates this extra layer. So it's anyway. So I'm going to do that. Okay. That's the crazy stuff, the ridiculousness of my buying stuff. The Santa's thing is so funny to me. But anyway, my great wall-to-wall carpet removal project, an update on that. So so we're recording on Friday, the 28th of July, I believe. So last Friday, I put the last 3 coats on the floor. And because what we did is we did the living room first, then the library dining room second, and then the next day I did the hallway. So I put 3 coats last Friday. So that's all done. And the quarter round is down in the living room and the library. And while I was gone, Mark came up and cut the quarter round for the dining room, but has not installed it. It's all cut. It's laying there. We just need to, so maybe today that'll happen or this weekend. And then now I'm at the 7-day mark for everything. I'm past 7 days. So I can start putting the carpets back. The Persian carpets can go back. So, I'm making big progress. I will say we're now down to that. I think there's a point in every project when you're close and then you kind of lost interest and other demands are Mark is doing the best he can, but he also, Kim has some sconces that he's supposed to install. He got a piece of furniture for our friend Bill, who has moved to a new apartment. He's been there now 6 months probably, but he doesn't have a lot of furniture. And Mark found a piece at the Goodwill for him, and he's cleaning it and getting it ready to go to Bill's apartment. So that means he's being called away to do other things. I thought today I know how to do the quarter round. I'm going to go work on it this afternoon and start installing it because I started it in the living room and he finished it. So, but we're so close.
Well, that's exciting. I'm excited to see it all put back together.
It really looks fantastic, and I'm kind of amazed at the condition of the floors. There were some problem areas which I talked about around the fireplace. The bay window, because that had been added to the house, the hardwood floors were there, but they had never been finished. So we had to figure out how to kind of try to match the color. And then the library, that's where there was a lot of, because growing up, we were not good pet owners. There was a lot of pet stains. And I was surprised at just how well those came out with the treatment that I did to them. And then I restained them and try and match the color. And if you actually look at them, you can see. But if you just walk in the room, you would, and there's a glance at the room, you'll never see them. And then patching all of those areas where the heat vents had been swapped out that my dad had done years ago, taking out that plywood and patching the floors. Again, if you look really closely, yes, you can see it. But if you just walk down the hallway, walk into the room, you'll never notice. smoke and mirrors, lots of distractions that you won't see. You just won't see it. So I'm really excited.
And you have rugs that will go down too. So.
Yeah, and then I have rugs, and I think I have enough rugs, but my brother has a rug in his basement that he said he thinks it would be better in the library, so I'm going to put it in there, and then he's going to figure out something for his house. He's got sources. We'll find. I'm not worried about that at all.
Yes,
he has sources. Yeah, so. I'm excited to get it done. I do have to give an update. I posted a picture that I bought something on eBay.
Yes.
The package. So I bought something for the carpet project. It's not this go around. It's the next go around. It's actually they call them, I think they're called carpet rods, I think, or stair rods or something. But you've seen houses where they actually have like a brass rod that goes where the tread meets the rise. Right. And so that carpet's going to go that I have, that is going to be thrown out, but I am going to put something back on the stairs for safety, just for going up and down the stairs. And so I found these on eBay, 2 different vendors. And the one was coming from Terre Haute, Indiana. And it didn't come. And it was supposed to arrive I ordered on the 12th. It was supposed to arrive on the 15th of July. It didn't come. And I could see the tracking information just kept going to different distribution centers. But didn't say where they were. And then finally it said it was in distribution center. And I cannot remember the name of it, but it was in Guam. And then it went to Honolulu, Hawaii.
Oh my gosh.
And then it came to Seattle. Now, I don't think this is normal. I think something
went wrong.
Somebody misread a number, something was scanned in it, or they missed scanning it or something. And because I don't believe that is the normal route. But I thought, I began to sort of panic. And then I thought, you know what? You just have to sit back and trust the process. They will show up. It may take a while, but they'll show up. And they did. They arrived on Friday, I think, last Friday. No, is that right?
Oh, wow. Yeah, because they weren't lost. They were just traveling in a very odd way.
I think they arrived this Tuesday of this week. So, yeah, they're not really lost. They were just taking a trip. They were on vacation.
Right.
They're on walkabout.
Right. Unlike my pen, which sadly, I don't know what happened to, misdelivered, I think. I ordered a pen from the 1970s, so it wasn't super old. But it was really cute. And I thought, it's probably going to arrive today. And it didn't. And I didn't go check the tracking on it. And so the next day I thought, it'll probably arrive today then, because it's only coming from Santa Cruz. So that's not that far from Peyton Street Pens. And when it didn't come that day, I went and looked at the tracking, and the tracking said it had been delivered the day before. Well, I know it wasn't delivered to me the day before. It wasn't like someone stole it off. I know that it wasn't delivered that day. And so I think it was misdelivered. And we talked with the postal carrier, and then I, contacted Terry at Peyton Street Pens. And anyway, so I got a refund, but the pen is out there somewhere. This 1970s, it was pink. It was a pink 1970s Japanese pen. Anyway, doesn't matter. I don't have it. I'll never have it.
Well, you never know. It might be returned. Who knows? You don't know.
Possibly, yeah. Well, it might go back to her, or it might show up. I've had a few things where they show as delivered, but they never were delivered. And I always just thought, it was somebody saying they did it, but they didn't. Like to show that their productivity or whatever, or mistake, but I think in this case, it was actually delivered to the wrong place.
Yeah. Well,
so
let me tell you, since we're talking about this stuff, I had a package delivered to my house. The address was correct, but the name was wrong. But I didn't notice it because I have been getting a lot of packages because I've been ordering things for the floor and etc. So I just opened it up and it was an Xbox. I did not order an Xbox. So the very next day it was shipped by UPS. So the very next day I went to the UPS place near me and to drop it off. I said it was misdelivered, and they would not take it because it's been opened. So I went, I didn't know what to do. So they gave me an 800 number. I called the 800 number. I waited and I thought, this is ridiculous. So I looked at and I also had looked at the website, and there's no information about what to do if something has been misdelivered to you. Not, you're looking for your misdelivered package.
Right.
You're not. And so, and then I thought, well.
And there's not like a return address like in the postal service.
And then there was a return address in Northridge, California, which I think is a distribution center for Amazon, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I couldn't, when I sent it back there, I just have to pay to send it back there, right? It's not,
right.
Because UPS will not take it. So I didn't know what to do.
That
so
seems
it's just
weird.
I know. Well, I can sort of like, when I thought it was weird too, but then when I stopped to think about it, it's like, well, you could just open the box, take something out, seal it up and return it and ask, like, I can see where there's some issue for them. Anyway. So then I sat in the back of the car because I thought, I don't know what to do. And then I thought, well, I don't even know how. So then the person it was addressed to, I started looking like on Facebook to see if I could find a person, like maybe it must be a neighbor. But then I thought it could be anything. It could be the wrong street. Right. It could be the wrong house number. It could be, if it's a 4-digit house number, but you just get it. Like there's so many combinations, right? Like I have no idea how to even start looking for this. So, and then I was just busy with the floor. So I just sat in the car for 5 days. So one day I'm on my hands and knees working on the floor when there's a knock at the door, and there's a neighbor came over. I met my new neighbor because he came over and he said, "Did you happen to have a package delivered here?" And I said, "I did. What's in the package?" Because I thought, he said, "It was an Xbox." And I said, "Yes, I do. It's in the back of my car." Anyway, he's new. He's moved here from Australia, but his friend in Australia sent him the Xbox as a gift, but as a joke, he put a different name on it. It's a made-up name. It's this funny name, so there's no way I would have ever found him. And he transposed the numbers on the 2 of the digits were transposed. So he just lives across the street and up 3 doors, so very close by. But as I said, there's so many combinations. If you get one digit wrong, I was like, I had no idea. So he's like, "I'm really sorry to come and bother you." Especially with a
different name, you'd never.
Yes, I couldn't even. Yeah. And he said, he looked it up and he's like, "Oh my God, this guy's such an idiot." he put the wrong. He thought it was a joke to put this different name down. So he said, "I've been all over the internet looking for this person, and this person does not exist because it's not a real name." Anyway, very nice man. Super nice. And he was sorry that he bothered me. And I said, "I'm just glad that I have that out of my car because I didn't know what to do with it. It didn't seem right."
Yeah.
And I don't want it, but I didn't know what to do with it. Right. So he got his Xbox. Anyway. But yeah, that's weird about UPS. I thought that was kind of weird, but I guess it does make sense. If it's open, they don't want to deal with it because it's not in its original condition. So interesting things with the mail. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see my pen arrive.
Yeah. And you don't know, it may show up eventually.
Well, that's what Terry said too. Maybe one of us will see this pen in the future sometime.
Well, I think if it was just lost in shipment, but the fact that it actually was delivered, I think I'm being Pollyanna. I think the reality is that person just kept it. It shows
that it was delivered. Mm-hmm. So unless that's a mistake, it was misdelivered. Yeah. So, but speaking of pens, just want to go through our list of events, things that are coming up. Not that has anything to do with wool, but I believe that I'm going to be going to the San Francisco Pen Show, August 20. It's going on August 25th through 27th, and it's in Millbrae, California. So it's in a new location from when I was last there. Because when I was last there, it was in, I want to say it was in Daly City, Foster City, somewhere outside of San Francisco. It's not in San Francisco proper, but it was right on the bay. In fact, we could see jellyfish in the water outside the the hotel, but it was one of those areas where they had kind of carved into the bay, you know. Mm-hmm. They've kind of carved out little pockets to put hotels and restaurants and things, houses, you know, carved out little places so that there's like waterways around these buildings. So it's not there this year. It's in Millbrae. But anyway, I've linked to it in the show notes. The other event in August that I'm planning to go to is the Monterey Wool Show Fleece Judging, which is August 12th, which reminds me, if I am going to put those skeins in, it's almost August. Yeah, if I am going to put those skeins in, I have to get them in. I think the deadline for entering is August 1st, and then you drop them off like the 9th or something. So anyway, I got to get on top of that if I'm going to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then the actual wool auction is September 4th, which is Labor Day. Mm-hmm. And both of those events are at the Monterey County Fairgrounds, if anyone's interested. So, and then finally, Lambtown. I am going to be at Lambtown October 7th and 8th. I'm taking a class on boucle, and that's in Dixon, California. I'm not sure if Robert and I are both going or if I'm just going to go by myself. Probably I'll be going by myself. And then maybe I'll even drop Aunt Betty off in Sacramento. That way Robert can stay home with the dogs. Her granddaughter lives in Sacramento, so I might do that. So that's what's coming up that I'm going to be potentially attending. I'm planning to attend. So,
Well, the only thing I have on here is, I'm gonna mention it. The Flock Fiber in Seattle. That's August 4th through 6th at Magnuson Park. But I'm not going. I'm just letting people know that it's happening. I was planning on going, but I just decided it's not really. Other people can enjoy it. I think I've heard that the tickets are limited. And it's one of those things that I have a lot going on.
Well, and you have another trip planned.
Yeah, I have another trip planned. And
you just bought all that yarn.
I just bought all that yarn, yeah. So it's okay. Like sometimes some of these things that, you know, the mood, you just have to be in the right mood for some of these things. And I just no, it's okay. And more yarn for other people to buy.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have to leave some of it on the shelf, Marsha.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, anything else?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to go work on the floor. Well, actually, you know what I'm going to do after we finish recording is I'm going to go out and start cleaning my car. It's a little dirty.
Oh, yeah.
And up there in British Columbia, a lot of the hike we went to, dirt road. We went to look at some rapids. That was a dirt road. Everywhere I went, it was a dirt road. So there's a lot of dirt stuck to the car, and there's a lot of dirt inside the car too. So I'm going to go out and clean that up and go walk the dog now. So, and then go work on the floor. Hopefully next time we record, it'll all be done and the furniture will be back. Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah. Well, that sounds productive.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be that productive today. We'll see.
Well, it's summer vacation for you. So you get to just relax this summer.
Well, I think I'm going to finish working on the heel of this sock and take the dogs out into the backyard and put on shorts for probably the first time this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And soak up some sun.
All right. Well, have fun. We'll talk in 2 weeks.
Thanks. Okay.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening. To subscribe to the podcast, visit 2usfiberadventures.com.
Join us on our adventures on Ravelry and Instagram. I am Better in Motion, and Kelly is 100 Projects.
Until next time, we're the 2Us
doing our part for World Fleece.